Not following the kit instructions is a pretty common trait among modelers, and in the case of the Transtar 4300, there's actually good reason for not following the instructions when it comes to cab installation. Going by the instruction sheet assembly sequence requires the cab to be painted, window glass installed, and then the interior pieces put in place. Next step is to glue in the cab floor, then add all the exterior detail items, and finally, the completed cab is glued to the frame. While this does replicate the assembly sequence of a real truck, I prefer to have the cab shell removable so it can be fitted on and off the frame as many times as necessary for test fitting before final assembly. This is an easy modification to make. The kit is designed so the interior panels locate the cab floor at the proper height. The cab's front wall also touches the floor in these two locations. Gluing a styrene strip in place along the base of the back wall is all that's necessary to make the cab shell easily removable. A simple vernier caliper is one of the most useful modeling tools to have on the workbench. The thickness of the step molded around the bottom of the cab floor is being measured here. This is approximately 60,000ths of an inch thick, although the exact measurement isn't critical, because the caliper can be locked and the depth gauge end used to transfer the measurement to the inside of the cab. Lay out a series of marks, which will be used as a guide for proper location of the styrene strip. I glued on a piece 30,000ths of an inch thick by 80,000ths of an inch wide. This will locate the back of the cab and won't interfere with any interior detail to be added later. Cab floor piece is now glued to the frame in its proper location, and the cab shell merely sits on top. The cab shell can be lifted off and worked on as a separate subassembly, and will always locate back on the floor in the same location. Having the cab floor attached permanently also makes it easier to add details like air lines and wires. This approach also works well in Italeri's 124 scale truck kits with their multi-piece cabs and separate floors. With the floor glued in place on this Peterbilt 378, wiring and hoses can be run from the frame into a void space at the front of the cab. Clutch linkage and other details can also be added. While the cab is being worked on, it can be set in place as often as necessary to check for alignment and fit of other components, such as hood and exhaust stack. Thank you for watching these examples of how not to follow the kit instruction sheet. With the cab easily removable and the doors cut and hinged, the next step on this Transtar 4300 project will be building up the door jamb area.